Hey there, and welcome back to Cosmic Crypto. In this video, we're going to be talking about Ravencoin RVN. Let's go. Okay. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you can go down below, hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, if you can tap the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into this. Ravencoin. So let's just be a quick update unless I start rambling again. So, weekly time frame, been following my channel. We're in this triangle. Also, we have formed, which I didn't bring up before, we formed a double bottom. So we do have a higher low for this bottom over here. I might have brought it up. I can't remember. But our waves down here on the trend directional are getting smaller in the right direction. Our RSI is fighting against the 50 level right now on the weekly time frame. And as you can see, every time we break above the 50 level after we've been below it for some time, so you see this one, I don't know that this one really counts because it's kind of a fake out, but that still was a nice move from the bottom to the top. But over here, we broke above it, and this is when we had our big run, is once we broke above it, we just started to rocket up. Right here, we broke above it, and we had a nice move to the upside. Over here, we barely broke above it during the Ethereum merge time, and we had a decent run to the upside. Well, we're sitting at that point right now where we could get a retracement coming in here because I think on the lower time frames, we do show some bearish divergence showing up on the daily now. And so we could go sideways here for a little bit or have a little correction, and then we could begin our move to the upside, something like that. But we do have a double bottom that we are forming, and a conservative price target for this double bottom, which I haven't played this one out yet, would be to not to the top of the wick here, but to the body. You could technically say the top of the wick because it would come up to the left side of this W pattern here as well. But we're going to be conservative here with our price target. So we take our price target, put it right in the middle here, and that price target brings us up to 15 cents, almost 16 cents. Which, I mean, that clearly brings us out of our triangle pattern here and gets us moving to the upside. I mean, right there, even if we didn't go any higher than that, and that's all this run had for us from where we're at right now to that point, that's still a 400 and almost 40% move. I mean, that's still pretty decent. Now, let's just be a little bit more aggressive here and take this to the top of the wick and see if that actually does anything else for us here. So we put that on the top, and I mean that brings us to a new all-time high for Ravencoin, just barely, which actually makes a lot of sense that we would get there and then kind of dance around right around the all-time high before possibly going any higher. That's roughly around the 30 to 32 cent level for that price target right there. So we'll just have to wait and see if that happens. But boy, I'll tell you what, I mean, not financial advice, but me personally, if we do get a dip here in the short term, I might be filling up again on some Ravencoin. Let's just see to that high right there from where we're at, what kind of percentage move we're looking at. I mean, that's 1,000% move. I mean, even if we didn't go any higher than that, that's pretty fantastic. And kind of lines up with what we see here with this big move here. But of course, I think I've gone over before the percentage moves and all that stuff to get us all the way to our price target up here of $1.28-ish. Yeah, let's go down to the lower time frames now, see what we got going on. So I think I mentioned on the daily time frame we do have a bearish divergence. I think in my last video I probably started talking about that a little bit, but it is definitely confirmed now where we do have a higher price target. We have higher highs on the price, and we do have a lower high on the RSI here. And we're also showing the bearish divergence. I actually changed, so just so you guys know, I was using the trend strength directional indicator down here. I've actually changed it to the market cipher B. Now, that is a paid indicator, but, well, that one is the market cipher B that you can buy, but don't tell them this, but you can actually just go into indicators and type in cipher, and you can use the Fu Manchu cipher B with divergences, which is basically the same thing. And there's a whole bunch of different other options you have here. anyway, so I actually switched over to that because I wanted to see the divergences right on my chart. And the signals were basically the same, if not even better, with the Fu Manchu than they were on the trend directional. I don't pay too much attention to the signals. I just use this just for reference. But anyway, just so you know, I did change over my indicator from the trend directional to the market cipher B here. Now, as you can see on the daily, so we did get that divergence, but that doesn't mean that this move can be over. That just means that we are slowing down, and there is going to be a correction or sideways action for some time in the future, unless this just gets super bullish and we get a massive move up here shortly. We did get some decent support off my orange line here, roughly around the 027 area, which we found support here first. We came up, we had a breakout. And if I go down to the 1 hour time frame, I think or maybe in the 4 hour, we were forming a triangle pattern, had that breakout, and then it just got obviously pushed right back down. As you can see, the wick is pretty massive on the top of this one. But we do have some a bullish candle forming here, but there's still almost 17 hours left on this candle, so I wouldn't put too much stock in that. Let's have to wait and see. It looks like we're stair-stepping up here, which is a good sign. We are, breaking through my levels. I do believe it's going to be not as easy to break above this yellow line here, which is the 618 Fibonacci, which is roughly right around the 0315 area. So it might take some sideways action or a few times hitting that thing in order to get through. So I don't believe we're getting through in the short term, but maybe by next week we could start seeing some more price action around that area, or maybe even above it. We'll see. I want to turn on the Elliott wave. So on the 12 hour, we do have this though. This is the one thing that makes me think maybe we get above it. Is our Elliott wave projection here is putting us at a wave 5. So we're actually forming our wave 4. And so then we would go on to our wave 5, which would push us above this yellow line here, the 618 at the 0315 area, if this plays out. Now, my only thing about this is if you go down to the 4 hour, you can see that the wave 5 on the 4 hour is already put in, and we are forming our ABC correction. And so, I mean, this still could play out on the 12 hour because this would take time, and then we finally push above. And then, so we'd want to wait until this ABC correction is finished here on the 4 hour, which, a rough price target from their projection, from the Elliott wave projection here, would be bringing us back down to roughly the 025 level for the ABC correction to finish up, which would line up nicely with this support right over here as well. The full price target would actually be all the way down to the 023. I just don't know that we're going to get down there. I think that the 025 area is more likely for this ABC correction, and then we push to the upside, or just sideways action. It really doesn't have to play out that way. This is just a forecast, Elliott wave forecast. So either sideways action or a little bit down. If we do break above this, I do expect some kind of volatile move out of here, actually. And that's actually what I'm kind of expecting from this 12 hour here is, here, let's do a price projection here. So let's go from the bottom of this wave 1 to the top of wave 1. And then let's just assume that, let's just assume that this is the wave 4 is already put in at 0237. We're looking at anywhere from the 0315 to the 0346 to the 0397 for some price targets. But actually, what do I want to do here? Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Anyways, also pay attention to a trend line that is forming. So we do have from the bottom down here, we have this trend line forming. And so from the very bottom of this move down at the 0178 area, we've kind of been dancing on this trend line here. And that actually lines up nicely with that, correctional move down to that 025 area, because if the price does get an ABC correction on the 4 hour time frame, That would actually line up nicely to kind of touch my pink line here at the 0253, and also line up nicely with this trend line here that we are forming. Now the problem is if we break through this trend line, then we could see further downwards movement here, which wouldn't be bad. It would just be forming another double bottom inside the larger double bottom, which would be pushing us even possibly, not higher, but it would get us out of here. So anyway, just pay attention to that area. The 025 area is really an area of interest for me for a correction. Again, if we break above this yellow line, we could start seeing some fireworks. I just don't know that that's going to happen in the short term. Maybe next week, middle of next week. Oh, you know what? We've got the Fed meeting next Wednesday, is it? So yeah, I could actually see us just going sideways or a little correction here until that Fed meeting. And then once that meeting comes out, we might break below this from the meeting, but don't pay any attention to that because that's just noise from the meeting. And then we'll probably just shoot right back up unless they come out and say they're going to raise interest rates 0.5 or 0.75 or something like that. Because I think what everybody's estimating is going to be a 0.25 rate hike. And so if they do something different than that, then we might see some moves to the downside. But I could actually see this kind of just going sideways or a correction until that meeting happens. And then we'll see our move from there. So, and the timing lines up pretty nicely with that as well. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got for Ravencoin. We are still just going, we're moving nicely along our way here. We got our double bottom forming. We've got a nice trend line to the upside. And actually, as you can see, let me show you this really quick. So this trend line that I just put in right here, let me show you what happens when you break these. So if you come over here to previous price action, let me get rid of this Elliott wave here. And so we had a trend line going here. It almost looks identical to this one right here in a larger scale, actually, which might not be good if it breaks it. But so as you can see, we had this trend line going. We had the big move to the upside. Was that an Elliott wave? See, it was. So that was a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth wave up to the top. Then we ABC correctioned all the way down in a pretty volatile manner. And so we're kind of doing the same thing with another Elliott wave on this side over here. And so if we do break that support, we're looking at either sideways action for a while or downwards action, which again, it isn't a terrible thing. It just means that we're, forming another double bottom in here, something like that. In my opinion, we could go lower, but I just believe that we'd just be forming another double bottom. So that's what happens when you break those trend lines like that. We want to kind of get out of there and start a new trend line to the upside. Really is what we want to do. And so we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I think just kind of sideways or a small correction for the next week. I think tomorrow's Wednesday. So yeah, it'd be pretty much 8 days or 7 days or something like that from now. Actually, let's see what that goes. Let's go to the daily time frame. And from today, yeah, 7 days. Let me put that in the right spot here. 7 days would put us right to intersect with my lines here at the trend line and the 025 area. So 7 days puts us right there. Maybe did I get that right? Yeah, I did. Okay, so that brings us right there. So, that timing seems kind of right too, so we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I'm rambling again. That's pretty much all I got for Ravencoin. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.